It's important to recall that. Sorry. So I'll repeat the question for you. Apologies for that. So
Yeah,
please, can you share an example of where you've used data analytics to drive a business decision?
sure. Let me think for a moment. Well, I would say I had well during my I was working in Peñaflor, that is
Yep.
one of the biggest wineries in Argentina. We had a lot of data. So one of my tasks was to try to solve the inefficiency problem that we had, that we had many stockouts that were appearing from nowhere, apparently. Um, so we had to well, I had the task of analyze that problem and try to find the root cause of that problem. Um, so what I did is using, well, mostly data from Oracle. I well um, extract all the necessary data that was mostly from the work orders and cross it um, with uh, with the demand,
Okay.
um, and the inventory. And well, the idea was to
If you don't know the word in English, tell me the word in Spanish, and to, so that you keep on
well,
flowing with the idea.
yeah. Um, the thing is, it's in this particular moment is not the word, but what I am trying to say, I'm a little lost because when I am talking, I like uh lost my course during what I am saying. Like I'm
Yep.
exposing something, and I cannot. Well, I miss myself. I don't know how to say that. So what I should be saying is, um, well, I crossed all the that data. I how was it?
So were you looking for
The thing.
patterns, the highlighted stockouts?
Well, no. At first, just tried to solve the immediate problem that was the stockout. So I had to create new work orders.
Hmm.
Uh, if there wasn't a problem, um, with experience doing this, like with the how do you say? Yeah, when times goes. Sorry, two questions here.
Yep.
First, how do you say when time, like with time doing the same task many times?
Okay. Well,
How do you say that?
repetitions of the task, the
Well,
the
yeah.
turnaround time.
Okay, okay. Well, with the repetitions, I could find the pattern that was um, that uh, the alcohol and percentage and the year the mm, of the wine, um,
The vintage.
the vintage exactly. So usually when they change, the problem is probably many times the country that is going to that we are exporting to this wine, they don't receive, they already did all the procedures that to validate that wine was coming in. So when it
Mhm.
changed, the problem is we couldn't give them what they already asked for, and they validated. So we couldn't deliver that wine. Usually that was a cause of stock out. Also, when that happens, if it's not the problem there, the thing is the um, the front uh, how do you, how would you call the thing that is in front of a wine, like the
The
etiquette,
label.
the label, the
Mhm.
label of the wine that has they were produced with before they bottle it. So the problem is the wine wasn't going to be in wouldn't have the same information. No, the wine wasn't going to correspond with the label.
Ah,
So
right.
that
Okay.
is a second. So the problem was usually percentage of alcohol and the vintage. That's what I discovered at the end. Second question I was going to ask you at the first this is whenever we are, I should be trying to um, keep all the questions to the last of the interview, to the final of the interview, or I mean, these kind of questions that I was asking, or I should be asking like when they come to me.
So what do you mean? Questions about the job itself?
No, questions about the like outside from the interview, just for English for me to learn. Um,
Okay, so I'm recording what the lesson, and I'm writing down some notes as we go along. So after the lesson, I'll send you those notes,
okay.
and then you can look at the video as well to
Mhm.
see the things that you can work on. So what is that? Does that answer
Okay,
your question?
so
Or
yeah, so I shouldn't be asking the like
no,
English
you can ask
questions right now
questions
because it will.
however you feel comfortable. Okay, because
Mhm.
the objective is to get to the interview and be comfortable when you're being interviewed in English, right? So
Mhm.
if you have something that you want to know now and it's stopping you from answering the question, then it's best to ask.
Mhm.
Okay.
Great, great. So two things here. I planned like what I was going to say of many kind of questions. Not this one, but this one is really good. So I wasn't sure what to say,
Okay.
but like um, you catch me with the how would you say that, the guard down or something like that. But well, the second thing is I prepare all kind of examples, but not in English.
Ah,
So
okay.
I will be like improvising. The thing is, they have too many principles, and
Yeah.
I want to like um, tackle all of them, but
Okay.
there are too many. So I have to. I'm trying to do many examples. I'm trying to remember all the things I have done in my jobs.
Yeah.
And so I have just did the first part, uh, the one in Spanish because it was going to be easier for me. And now I'm like kind of improvising the English part, but just to tell you that. So now we continue with the interview. Sorry for that.
No, that's okay. So okay, I'll explain. For me, I went through the job description. So I was looking
Hmm.
for things that they are looking for.
Hmm.
Yeah. So my questions come from what is the job about, and
Hmm.
then I look at your experience and I ask a question about that. So
Yeah, yeah,
one of the things that they're interested in is business analytics.
yeah.
What they're interested in is data analytics and business processes. So you've
So
got a lot of
what
experience
I
of those things,
mm,
but in a different area. Obviously, with wine and with
mhm,
Bimbo, it's slightly different. But with Amazon, what they're after is somebody that has experience of those general concepts,
mhm,
but they're going to apply them to something else. So I think the things that they're looking for are things like strength in data analytics, looking for optimization of processes, somebody that is a self-starter, somebody that doesn't need to be told what to do, somebody that has a lot of initiative.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
So my questions are coming from that angle.
That's great, and the question was great. I haven't thought about that one, and it's really simple. I mean, is well, I'm trying to do my best here, um, but what I should have told you in that kind of question, maybe it's that I did. I worked with Oracle for
Yeah.
extracting the information. I used Power Query, and then Excel for most of the analysis. And well, I didn't use Power Pivot in that moment. In other examples, yes, a little bit. Um, but well, probably I would have said that. Yeah.
Okay. So when you were using those tools, what did you achieve with those tools? So you were talking about addressing stockouts.
hmm Well, at the start of this, when I arrived to this position, well, this was a new position
Mhm.
in the department of planning, so I had to create my own analysis tools. Well, uh, in Excel mostly. Um, so mm, I started with like it was one 150 stockouts, work orders that weren't going to. Sorry, no. How do you call the demand? El pedido.
The purchase orders.
The purchase orders. No, purchase, but no, like the one that would do like a purchase order.
Or
Yeah,
purchases
like
or
the
orders.
client what gives to the company, like a purchase order.
And yeah, an
Oh,
order, a purchase order, an order.
oh, okay, okay. So we weren't going to fulfill these purchase orders. So it was 150 of them constantly, like they had all of these ones when I arrived. And I started slowly trying to solve each of them, and at the same time trying to meet the root cause.
Yeah.
But with at the end of my period, uh, I reduced this backlog like 90%.
Okay.
So we had like 15 orders that weren't going to be, but that weren't going to be fulfilled. But uh, most of them were just because a gap time between the system, the refreshment of the how do you call the update of the system.
Mhm.
Um, so when it is going to be updated, the PO, that is the order, arrived before the work order was created.
Right.
So many
Okay.
of them were that
Mhm.
just temporary um, stockouts,
Yes.
and
Mhm.
others were, well, some from quality that did uh, freeze the production. But well, the thing is, every week new stockouts were created, but at the same time, same amount was being released. No, released no.
Resolved?
Resolved. So we were stuck in the 10% with the resolution of the 90%.
Okay. So in summary, when you started working as a planning analyst,
Mm-hmm.
there were how many did you say? 150 orders that were unsatisfied.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was like yeah, exactly. I was trying to remember a thing, but doesn't matter. It was the amount of boxes of wine that
Okay.
was really important because each one of these orders was like 400 or
Ah,
700
right.
boxes.
Okay. So you open the door
So
and there's boxes to the ceiling.
yeah, exactly. Well,
Okay.
that was the thing.
Okay. So you used Oracle, well, you used Excel to start with, and you added other tools to the list as you went along. So it was a role that you created for yourself, or were you asked to take on that role?
No, this position was created by the chief of planning.
Hmm.
He needed an analyst, so they called me. I was working before that in product development, and they offered me this position. I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
I was always, all my life, I have been attracted by planning and
Okay.
data analysis too.
Yeah.
Mostly during my work in Peñaflor,
Hmm.
I started enjoying more and more these analytics.
Okay. So, why were you offered the job? What were they? What characteristics was what did you say, the CFO or the CEO of Peñaflor?
No, it wasn't him. No. It
No.
just was the chief of planning.
Oh, okay.
Like the man, no chief, probably planning manager.
So the planning manager
Yeah.
identified that this job needed to be done. Why did he select you, or why did he offer the job to you?
Well, they, because it was him and the supervisor, they did some interviews, and I applied for that one. I did the interview, and I suppose I was the best fit for the position. I had experience in product development, so I knew how the system was working. Some of the incidents, because we worked a lot with them, um, and well, mm, mostly that, I suppose.
So you already had experience inside the company, so you knew what the problems
Yeah,
were from the
yeah,
inside. But
exactly. Yes.
what specific skills did you bring to that job? Was it just your experience, or is it something that you studied at university that helped you um, with this particular role?
Um, uh, well,
Is it something that you studied,
I try to.
the planning cycle and
Some, yeah, in the university, but it wasn't like it was too theoretical.
okay,
When I arrived there, it like I just knew some concepts, but the idea, like I mean, the process, I didn't know the particular process of Peñaflor, exactly how it was, and also the tasks that I was going to be doing. neither. So maybe the university wasn't like very useful. A little,
So you learnt the
but mostly
theory at
being,
university,
yeah,
but it was really about your experience within the company,
yeah,
and they selected you because you understood the process in a
yeah. Well, they
practical
asked me
way.
some questions. Yeah, yeah. They asked me some questions about the company, about the what I was doing in product development, and so they said like, okay, mm, like he would work for this job, I suppose. Uh, um, they um yeah, well, what they asked me a lot, like my main tasks in my the previous position, and um any achievement on um well, mostly that, and about the some things about the process. Yeah, I remember, like they asked me how many wines do you think we are producing now. So that kind of information, we didn't have it in product development, but I said like, okay, we have 9 lines of production. Each one is producing like, well, the bigger one, the biggest is producing like, it was like, I don't remember now, but it was amazing. Like 9,000 bottles, like an hour. It was now I'm saying a random number, but at the
Mhm.
moment I knew it. Um, I have it written. I have written that in some, like, in some word I have, but I don't remember.
Okay.
So well,
So
I said like, well, with this, working 24 hours a day with some um, operational incidents and anything you have like to stop for. Probably, I said like multiplying mentally. I said like, well, something like that.
right.
And he
Okay.
corrected me, but he was like, okay,
It
well,
was close enough.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I would suggest for questions about Grupo Peñaflor that you work a little bit on the reason for that job. Okay. So the planning analyst, I think, is a key step in your career. It's what
Mhm,
changed you from being a university intern into a useful um, employee for the company. Not only that, you were managing very significant processes within the company. So they trusted you to with a very important process, and you took that and you reduced the stockouts and
mhm,
the inventory by 90%. So
mhm,
at first it was, well, it was your first step in the planning area, as it were.
mhm,
So it's a very important job to be a, and I think it will be good to justify your position there a little bit more strongly. So work a little bit on the reasoning why you took that job, what you did at that job, rather than saying, well, it wasn't really anything to do in university. Well, I learned in theory about planning at
mhm.
university, but because I was on the inside, I had a much better understanding, and that's what
Okay.
allowed me to take on that role.
Mhm.
Yeah, so a nice,
Okay.
a little phrase to, because I think sometimes when we look back at our first jobs, we don't value them so much.
Yes.
But that job was a turning point in your
Mhm.
career, right? So
Yeah.
that job
Yeah,
made
it was.
you, gave you the opportunity to be sitting in front of Amazon when you have your interview. So I think it's a really important job to have a nice, good memories of it,
Mhm.
and to be able to talk about the sort of things that you did and what you brought to the role. I think your CV is really very strong on that. And I think that's a great place to do a little bit of work on the script, as it were, for the interview.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I
Okay.
understand.
So let me ask you another question, maybe see where that leads us to as well. Yeah.
Okay.
So one of the things at Amazon that and part of the job that you're putting yourself forward for is about dealing with multiple stakeholders. Okay, so they put a lot of emphasis on good relationships with stakeholders. So
Hmm.
describe a time where you've had to work with multiple stakeholders and how you've managed those relationships.
Okay. Um, well, at Bimbo,
Hmm.
here in Spain, I was working as a supply planner. So I had to do manage the weekly schedule of the bread lines. So there, after analyzing the inventory demand um, and the inventory and demand data, I had to validate the plan always with the always some reunions
Not
on
reunions,
Tuesdays,
meetings. Meetings.
meetings.
Hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
meetings with logistics
Hmm.
and the production team, and I had to guide the meeting and
To lead the meeting.
to lead the meeting. Um, and
Mhm.
I guide the meeting and sorry, lead the meeting. I had to uh, work also with people from material planning to validate the possibility of doing that plan. Um, the
So the plan that you're talking about, sorry to interrupt, the plan that you're
No,
talking,
yes,
the plan that you're talking about was a plan that you developed on a weekly basis?
yeah, exactly. It was during Monday and Tuesday. I had to uh, prepare all the plan and expose this with the people from logistics, from the logistics and production teams.
Hmm.
Um, and well, they had all their own constraints. So I had then to make little adjustments for the plan and then send it the final um,
The final version?
the final version. So that was the one that was going to be done. That was a week plan, but every day we had little incidents, no little, not little. They were big incidents, operational mostly. Some shutdowns because of the heat during summer. Also because a machine was broken, that happened a lot. So every day I had to adjust the next day, like the rest of the plan of that week.
Okay.
So there were going to be new versions of that plan anyway.
Okay. So it was like a
Um,
rolling plan.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Who,
Um,
who did you
there were
coordinate
also
with? Sorry to interrupt. Yeah.
no, it's okay. I was going to say that um, there are only also there were a lot of like the forecast has different kind of or like the forecast says how much demand we will have, but when the purchase orders arrive, they are different. So that also affected the adjustments of the plan. Just that.
Okay.
So
Okay.
they were not only operational, but also from the demand
From the planning as well. So,
variations.
who were the representatives of the other stakeholders? So from logistics, the production team.
Well, in production, it was the production manager
Mhm.
that was in charge of all the um, plants. Plants is okay.
Or of the plant,
Oh, plant,
the
plant,
plant. So the
plant.
machines and so on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
Of the
so
factory. I mean, factory or plant is okay.
it's the same. Yeah. So
Okay. Yeah.
plant like that or
Mhm.
factory.
Okay. Good. I yeah. Okay.
So
Perfect.
it's the same.
Um,
So plant is
it's
like
the
a
same.
blender. Plant and
Yeah.
factory we use in the same way. Plant is probably more of a technical term. Factory is
Okay.
probably a more day-to-day common
hmm
person word.
hmm Okay. Then the plant.
So
Um.
the plant
Yeah.
includes all the machinery.
hmm hmm
Yeah.
They also had some of the people that of inventory inside
Mhm.
their team. But I was speaking with the manager plant, the production
Plant
plant,
manager or the
the
production
plant
manager.
manager.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
And the
and also
logistics.
from the logistics, it was the uh, manager of logistics, the
Okay.
logistics manager.
So
Yeah.
you were dealing with the senior people in each
Yeah, they
area.
were. Yeah, very much. Yeah,
Yeah,
they
because
were the
that's
senior.
that's an
Yeah,
important thing to stress. It wasn't that you were
they
working.
were team leaders. Yeah,
Yes,
like
so
not only team leaders, from big departments leaders. Yeah.
exactly, because that's an important thing to show at what level you were working. You weren't working
Good.
at the lowest level, you were working at the high level in order to coordinate everybody to make
Yeah.
things happen, to make everybody, to ensure that everybody
Good.
was
I
following
will
the
try
plan
to.
and make adjustments and so on.
I will highlight that then. Yeah.
Yeah. Because the word they use is stakeholder, but really what that means is the
Yeah.
the people that are in charge of the internal processes, like the department
hmm
heads.
hmm
Yeah,
Yeah. Good. Then. So it's better when I say if I specify who I was talking with.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay.
we had weekly meetings where I would coordinate. I used to lead the meetings. It's important to say I used to lead the meetings, or
hmm
I lead the meetings with the production manager, the manager of the logistics department, and the I don't know the product development department. We all used to have a weekly meeting to establish the goals for the week or the production targets for the week. And as events happened and incidents happened, that plan was adjusted on a rolling basis.
hmm
But it was your responsibility to maintain the plan, right?
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, Zoom is going to cut in a couple of minutes. What we'll do is I'll have to adjust the time of the meeting, so Zoom will open again, but we'll come straight back in on Zoom one. Okay,
Okay.
if you
Okay.
have time. Do you have time?
Yeah, I have. I have.
Yep. Okay. Well, let's close Zoom now, and then
Yep.
I'll adjust the meeting, and then we'll come back in Zoom one. Okay.
Okay. Yep.
So see
Yep.
see you in a moment.
See ya.